Sergio Garcia spent 2 decades making the Ryder Cup feel like it belonged to him. The numbers are unreal. 28.5 points and 10 Ryder Cups. No one in Europe's history has produced more in that arena. Then September 2025 happened. Luke Donald started reading out his captain's picks for the Ryder Cup, and Sergio wasn't one of them. He wasn't injured or retired, just not wanted. The disappointment hit so hard that Sergio couldn't even tee it up the next week. He withdrew from the Irish Open, admitting he wasn't in the right place mentally to compete. So, how did the same fire that made him a Ryder Cup legend turn him into a problem nobody wanted to deal with? Let's find out. Here's the thing about Sergio Garcia. He never played golf like a robot. He played it like a person. Loud emotions, fast reactions, big swings in energy. That's why crowds loved him in match play. You could feel him, you could feed off him. But those same emotions didn't stay neatly inside the ropes. And over time, they turned into headlines, fines, suspensions, and moments that stuck to his name. And the wild part is the moment that made him famous wasn't even a win. Let's wind the clock back to the 1999 PGA Championship at Medina. Sergio was 19 years old. Skinny, fearless, and playing like he'd never been told what golf was supposed to look like. Then he hit a tee shot on the 16th that landed near a tree, and the ball ended up in a spot that looked like a dead end. And Sergio did something that basically introduced him to the world. He took a massive lash from behind that tree, eyes shut as he swung, and sent the ball curving toward the green. Then he ran up the fairway like a kid chasing his own miracle. That was the first hint of what he'd become. A golfer who wore his emotions on his sleeve. That was the fuel. And that fuel would burn brightest in one arena more than any other. Yes, we're talking about the Ryder Cup. Put Sergio in stroke play, and his emotions could get messy. But put him in the Ryder Cup, and suddenly that same fire turns into an advantage. Because match play is personal, it's confrontational. It's momentum and nerves and body language. And Sergio lived for that. Over 10 Ryder Cups, he put up a record 28.5 points for Europe. That's the star part of the story. He wasn't just good, he was a vibe, a weapon. But while the Ryder Cup turned his intensity into a highlight reel, the regular tour grind often did the opposite. And the first big warning sign came in a moment that was impossible to defend. March 2007 WGCCA Championship at Doral. On Saturday, Sergio three-putted for bogey on the par 3 13th. He walked up and spat into the cup. Not a metaphor. Literally spat into the hole. This is where the perception starts to shift. Because passion is one thing, disrespect is another. And what made it worse is that Sergio's career already had a label forming around it. Unbelievable talent, but too many emotional outbursts. Which brings us to the most brutal part of his story, the majors. By 2012, Sergio had been chasing a major for over a decade. At the Masters that year, after a rough Saturday, he said something that sounded like a man giving up on himself. "I'm not good enough. I don't have the thing I need to have. I should play for second or third." That's not trash talk. That's not competitive fire. That's despair. And it matters, because it shows you the other side of his temper. When the anger stops going outward and starts turning inward. But Sergio being Sergio, he couldn't stay quiet for long. In 2013, Sergio's feud with Tiger Woods was already making noise. Then, at the European Tour Players Awards dinner, Sergio was asked, jokingly, if he'd invite Tiger for dinner. His answer: "We'll have him around every night. We'll serve fried chicken." It didn't land as a harmless joke, it landed as a racially loaded remark, and the backlash was immediate. Sergio apologized, saying it was stupid and out of place. This is the pattern again: quick emotion, quick mouth, long consequences. And if you're wondering, okay, but did he ever actually grow out of this? The honest answer is sometimes, because the greatest proof that Sergio could control his inner chaos came in the 1 week that finally changed his career. April 2017. Masters Sunday. Sergio was in the final group, tied with Justin Rose. He'd been close before. He'd been labeled the best player never to win a major, and he was carrying the weight of all those near misses. He didn't cruise. He fought. He fell behind. But he came back and forced a playoff. Then, on the first playoff hole, Rose found trouble, while Sergio stayed steady and made the birdie that won him the green jacket. Finally. It almost felt like a curse breaking. It was his 74th attempt at a major title. For one night, the temper didn't ruin him. It carried him. So, you'd think that would be the end of the story, the mature champion arc, the calm veteran era. But with Sergio, the temper never really left. It just waited for the next moment. February 2019, Saudi International on the European Tour. Sergio was disqualified after he intentionally damaged multiple greens during his third round. This wasn't gossip, it wasn't interpretation. It was the tour saying, "This crossed a line." And once that reputation hardened of him being volatile, unpredictable, sometimes reckless, it didn't take much for golf's institutions to start keeping him at arm's length, which mattered a lot when the next big fracture in the sport arrived. In 2022, Sergio joined LIV Golf. And for Sergio, that wasn't just a schedule change. It dragged him straight into the part of modern golf that isn't about swings at all. Tour politics, eligibility rules, and penalties. In May 2023, the DP World Tour confirmed Sergio had resigned his membership. That one move made him ineligible for the 2023 Ryder Cup. Then the dispute turned into paperwork and punishment. There were fines, deadlines, and public back and forth about what he owed and when he planned to pay it. None of this was unique to Sergio. But it hit differently because his identity had always been tied to Europe, to the Ryder Cup, to that team room. And now, to get back into that format, he had to do it the hard way. In late 2024, Sergio reapplied for DP World Tour membership for the 2025 season, paying reported fines over €1 million and accepting that he'd still have to serve suspensions before being eligible again. That's not a small detail. That's Sergio putting real money and real reputation on the line to reopen a door he'd shut himself. Which sets up the final twist. Because even after paying the price, he still didn't get the call. September 2025. Luke Donald announced his captain's picks for the Ryder Cup. Sergio wasn't one of them. Then Sergio withdrew from the Irish Open, saying he wasn't mentally ready to compete after the disappointment. And whether you're a Sergio fan or not, that moment hit hard. Because it was the same emotional wiring that made him a Ryder Cup icon, turning into the reason he had to step away and regroup. It was the fire again, just burning in the wrong direction. So was Sergio Garcia's temper a gift or a curse? The answer isn't simple. It made him fearless enough to swing from behind a tree with his eyes shut. It made him the greatest Ryder Cup point scorer Europe has ever had. And it also made him capable of moments that were impossible to excuse, moments that cost him respect, fans, and sometimes his own opportunities. But the real tragedy, and the real reason his story sticks, is that Sergio never faked being calm. He never pretended to be something he wasn't. He just kept trying to aim the same emotion at the right target. Some days, it made him a star. Other days, it made him an outcast.